Hey everyone, it's Traceface here today with another video. And today, for many of you, this could be the first time that you're viewing my channel. Thank you for being here. I discuss all things narcissism, but for many that may or may not know, I did study communications in college and took a lot of courses on nonverbal communications, took some graduate courses as well on nonverbal communications. And I've been researching nonverbal communications ever since. I think I've read every book Dr. Lillian Glass ever put out, who is considered the doctor of communications. And so today I really want to get into how to tell when somebody is lying to you. And I'm going to give you some nonverbal cues and things that they do and say, actually, things that they'll say as well, that you're going to know you're dealing with a very deceptive person. Now, as a disclaimer, I do want to make, first of all, I want to make note of something here. A lot of people who have been abused, okay, and I know because I found myself doing some of these things. There's going to be a difference here, okay, to know when somebody's lying to you and abusing you with their lies, as opposed to somebody that has been abused and how they carry themselves, okay? And there is a difference. Some people that have been abused have a hard time remembering things, feeling confident about themselves. So a lot of times they'll be looking side to side when they're talking. So some of the things almost at times can almost seem like it's mirroring that, but there is a difference. And obviously you have to know the kind of person that you're dealing with. Most deceptive people, if not all, they're going to lead you places with their behaviors for you to understand that you're dealing with somebody that is not truthful. Perhaps lacks an identity, doesn't have one, and so, but somebody that's been abused, okay, been severely abused and or gaslit, both, sometimes appears to be hiding something. And it's really that their confidence has been stripped from them. They tend to kind of carry themselves in a way that they're not so sure. They've lived years of doubting themselves. Okay, so I want to make a note of that before I continue on with this list. There's a difference there, and you should be able to recognize that once I go through this list with you today. Well, how to know someone's lying to you? I have a list here of 20 different things, 20 ways to know that somebody is deceptive, is lying, is a big fat liar, pants on fire. Okay. The first thing that I have down here is that when you approach the liar on something that you found, or you have a question, somebody maybe gave you some information, or you happen to see them somewhere that they said they were not, and you go to say something to them like, hey, were you just at Lollipop Strip Club, an hour ago? And the first thing that a lot of times they're going to do, okay, is they're going to repeat back to you what you just said to them. Lollipop Strip Club. Was I just at Lollipop Strip Club? This is a maneuver and a technique to get some more time on their hands to be able to come up with a good answer for you. And a lot of them will respond back with a question. Why would you say that? What would make you ask me that question? Because they want to know, how did you find out? They are trying to buy time right now so that they can come up with some sort of lie on top of the lie, because they already told you that they didn't go to Lollipop Strip Club and they were hanging out with their friend Chris. And so you found out that, you had an instinct, you went and found out, you got the answer, and they're going to do this. They will repeat back to you what you just said. And they usually will do it in a question form. And they usually will have a question for you so that it gets the spotlight off of them, so they have more time to think up an answer. Okay. Another thing that they're going to do is they're going to get very loud and defensive with you. This is a key indicator that they are full of crap. They figure if they can get louder and really defend themselves, really come to bat for themselves, that you are going to back off. This is a technique to get you to back off. Stop asking me that. Stop catching me. It's not true. I did not do that. How dare you? What is wrong with you? They'll tell you. What kind of a thing is that to say to me? What kind of a person do you think I am that I would be lying to you about that? Why would I lie about that? When they're doing this, know that you got them, because they're getting defensive and they're getting loud and they're getting upset. Now, when you got a covert liar, they're going to just hurry up and, like, let's say you're on the phone with them and you say something to them that they don't like, they're going to hurry up to get off that phone with you as quickly as possible. Okay, because they're passive. They're passive. And then they're going to lead to the passive aggressiveness. All right. And the passive aggressiveness is going to come out in all sorts of forms of nastiness and online slander and whatever else they can conjure up, because they're part of my language. They're chicken shit. Okay, they are. And they are, that's how they handle things. They just go off and try to do sneaky ways to punish you. They're punishing you for saying something that they didn't like. So you're going to notice that you're really going to find out when you call somebody out in their crap behavior, how covert they are by how quickly they're going to just shut down the conversation, shut it completely down, because they are not going to be accountable. They're not going to admit that they're wrong. And they just want to punish you for how dare that you say anything. You don't get to criticize them. No, siree. Another way that liars are going to give themselves away. A lot of people think that they're going to be doing this, looking side to side, looking down. Well, not always. Yes, sometimes they do that. But a lot of them that are professional liars, okay, they're professional. They are masters at this. They got their PhD in tall tales. They will look you deadpan in the eye. They will look you deadpan in the eye. But this deadpan look is followed by this deadpan look in their face, in their eyes. It's almost really creepy. No, I did not do that. I did not do that, Tracy. No, I didn't. And they'll be very still. This is someone that's had, like I said, had a full-time career with the repeat pathological, psychopathic behaviors of being very good at what they do. And so you'll find them doing this. Now, sometimes you want to watch for, like, you're talking to them, you're telling them, hey, I went through your computer, found out that you're looking up some pretty sick stuff on the internet. They're going to start fidgeting with something on the table. They're gonna start playing with something on the table, fidgeting. Or their feet are going to be moving, shuffling. They do the thing where, their legs are shaking, because they're ticked off. So it's going to show up in their body language. Yeah, that can happen. So look for fidgeting when you catch them. Those sometimes, I notice I'm a fidgeter when I've had too much caffeine. I'll be doing weird things because that's how my nerves. I've always been a very nervous, like, my personality is, can be at times like anxious and nervous. I've come a long way. You should see me in my 20s. I mean, I won't even get into the psychological issues I had with like picking my scalp and weird things. But anyway, watch for fidgeting when you call them out in a lie. All right. Sometimes if you're really paying attention, you'll see that they're going to start breathing heavier. And you'll see it because their blood pressure's coming up. They're up against the wall, and narcissists especially are the kind, they do not, their mentality is, how dare you? You have no right to call them out, to say anything, to even go there. They're already fuming. Okay. And sometimes they're going to give you this, you're going to see, this is when the supernatural stuff starts happening. You think I'm crazy. Watch when you call them out, catch them, their eyes. This is when I saw the ex-bozo's eyes go completely black. Okay. And I'm laughing now. It was one of the scariest things I've ever seen. And they even talked about this in that Ted Bundy documentary. His eyes went completely black. Okay, the journalist saw it with his own two eyes. This is a person with blue eyes, completely blue eyes, turning black. And the scientists would say, "Oh, that's the adrenaline. Their pupils enlarge." No, we're not talking about that. Okay, we're talking about the demon that's inside of them surfacing and manifesting because it's mad. You think I'm crazy? It's true. Anyway, you might see them breathing heavier. All right. They're getting on the defensive, and they might be sitting still, but they're going to start breathing heavier. They might get a little crack in their voice. Okay. They get a little crack in their voice. Also, sometimes when they get caught, that evil demon inside of them does this little sideways smirk. Okay. And it's creepy. And, it's like, what are you talking about? Why would you say that? And it's because you got them, again, that's their reaction to it, because it's the guilt and it's coming through. So, they're like little children that you just caught, wet in the bed, and they're going to have that kind of a reaction. Look out for that. A very deceptive person, also talking about the sideways smirk, almost has this like a very deep, especially the coverts. The coverts do this. You can watch out for this. They have this deep, almost like sensual way of staring at you when you're talking. And you might think at first, like, this person's really sort of like into what I'm saying, or I don't know, maybe they find me attractive, or I don't know, maybe. No, guys, they're deep in thought about something completely different, or something that they're going to do to you, or they're taking what you're telling them and they're storing it. And beep, boop, bop, bop, boop, beep. They're up to something. Okay. And it looks very, very like, almost seductive. Yeah, it's like the snake charmer kind of a thing going on here. The hypnosis, and they do this. And it's very, very intense. They have an intensity to looking at people, and they're seducing you. All right, to getting you right exactly where they want you. The next one I have down here is they've got way too many details of the story. Okay, when a liar gets caught, they're going to start making up an entire tall tale beyond measures of every detail. Then I got up and I farted, then I went. It gets, they come up with all kinds of details. Like then I had to pick up Chris, and then his sister was there, on the rag, and she was upset. And, at that point I got in my car, I was backing up, and then Chris farted. But what I'm getting at. They give you details that you're kind of scratching your head. Like, why would you even tell me about Chris's farts? It's because they are just making things up off the top of their head. And they figure, oh, if I provide this person with the, that's accusing me of a lie with more details, they're going to buy what I'm selling. So I got to provide with all this rubbish and strict details here about what happened that night. All right. So watch for that. They're going to have so many details that they're going to tell you about that happened. And they're believing this, guys, as they're telling you. They really do believe what they're telling you here. You know that you're dealing with a liar when the story changes. If you ever watched the trial with Jodi Arias that happened about a decade ago, one of the sickest people I have ever, to even think about her and think about that name, I just literally got physically sick to my stomach. I watched that trial because I could not believe a person like this actually exists. And if you watch, she would, when she first got caught, she had an entire story with the crazy details. These two people came in, they had masks on their face, and they shot up Travis, her the unfortunate boyfriend that his life ended, that she took his life. When you hear her first confession, all right, in the interrogation room, she had all these details, and then she was hiding under the sink, and then it's so sick, it's unbelievable. And then when they found her, the evidence did not match the story. She came up with a whole other story. And then she had a third one. And the third one was that she was an abused person. She was a severely abused person. And that's why she finally lashed out and killed him. Now, at this point, what are you going to believe? I don't believe any of the stories. She is a liar. She lies. That's what she does. So you can't believe any of the narratives. We know that she killed him. We know that she overkilled him. I think the poor thing was stabbed like 90 something times, an incredible amount of, this is like a rage kill from a malignant psychopath. And, but when people do this, and then you say, well, if you weren't at Lollipop Strip Club, why did I walk in tonight and take your picture? Oh, well, Mo just called me down to go down there for one drink, and Mo's having a bad time. And so, well, I didn't see Mo there. Well, he must have been in the bathroom. No, I checked to see if you were there with anybody else. And I actually went in the men's bathroom, and there was no Mo there, and there was none of your friends there. You were there by yourself to see, Lucy Lou, Lucy Goose, you were there to see her. I know you've been seeing Lucy Goose. No, look, it was just one time. Okay. It was just one time. I was down there, and Lucy, just seduced me when she opens up her legs in front of my face. And so then I just, I had too much to drink. And then, see what I'm talking about though, guys? That was kind of gross. But it goes like this. The stories will change, and they will flip, and they will switch, and they will tell you all kinds of stories so that they don't ever have to admit what they actually did. And I'm going to remind you in the middle of this video right now, lies always mean that there are more. Lies, when you catch someone lying, it means that there are more. Okay. That's the rule of thumb. I remember my, that was a good snort, right? I remember my ex, the ex-clown there, lying to me in the beginning about, going through the, to me about getting BK broilers at Burger King. And you lie about getting a sandwich on your lunch break? Well, it's because he was probably getting a BK broiler, all right, on his way to doing something he shouldn't be doing. And that's what his whole career is. It's always about getting away with something. Okay. And at the time, I had no clue what I was dealing with. But then, then come to find out, I'm finding out he's drinking at work. He's hiding bottles of vodka. He was drinking on the job, hiding bottles in his car. And it's like, what am I dealing with here? Well, you're dealing with a liar. Like they're hiding things all the time about what's going on with them. From BK broilers to from BK broilers to Lucy Goose. They're up to something, okay? And it's called no good. All right. Now, the next thing that they're going to do is they're going to project or deflect onto you. No, I'm not the liar. You're the liar. I'm not a narcissist. You're the narcissist. Look at you, you big narc. They got to deflect their behavior onto other people. They're not going to do the inner work or look within and be like, wow, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that. They're going to do that. They're going to make you think you're crazy. You're crazy. You need help. You need to go on medication. You're bipolar. This is the famous things they're going to tell you, okay? Because, and what it is stop telling me the truth. How dare you? All right. So they're going to project and deflect what they're doing onto you. Notice a lot of you that discovered that your person was cheating on you. All right. They were accusing you of cheating on them. And you're like, why would you even think that? I'm not even doing anything remotely, that would make you think I'm being a sneak or doing something suspicious. That's because that's what they're doing, you guys. And they're going to project that onto you. You're a liar. You're a sneak. You're a cheat. You're a BK broiler lunch goer. You're hiding snacks. Okay. Oh, this is my favorite. When you ask them to prove it. Now, this is the perfect thing to say to a liar. All right, if you weren't at the Lollipop Guild, hanging out with all the other pig trolls, prove it. Prove that you weren't there. You say you were hanging out with Chris. Call him up right now. Let's call him up right now and ask him where you were. They're going to do this thing where they're just going to stare at you. Because they gotta think of something. They gotta come up with something really quick here. All right. And this is how this goes. And so ask them to prove it and see what happens. They can't, guys, they can't prove anything to you. And they'll say things to you like, I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous. I'm going to drag Chris into our argument here tonight. Chris doesn't need to know what's going on here. And this is embarrassing. I can't even believe that you don't believe me right now. This is what they do. Okay. Watch for that. Prove it. Prove it. They can't. They can't. They won't. All right. A deceptive person is all of a sudden going to start putting passwords on all kinds of things. Passwords. They're going to keep changing their passwords. Because especially if you live with them, they're afraid that you saw their password to get in. So now we know that everything is now the face to get in. Oh, the narcs were so happy with that one. Yes. Partner over here accusing me of cheating can't come in my phone now because it's face recognizable. And if you caught them cheating and you say, hey, I feel more comfortable now that I caught you having a password to your phone because I need to know I can trust you again. They'll play a little game with you for maybe like a week or two. This could even maybe go on for a few months, but watch, they can't stick to this. They're not going to stick to that. All right. They're going to be in the office on WhatsApp anyway. They're going to go to their office and use WhatsApp to text the loosey gooses, and and this is how they do it, guys. They're on other apps communicating. There's always a trick. There's always a way to continue getting away with what they want, because they're getting off online. They get off on getting away with things. That's what they're doing. They like this. They love pulling the wool over your eyes. They love having their cake, eating it too, and you not having a clue about any of it. It's a high for them. So notice that, yeah, they're going to start changing passwords. They also are going to start tracking you. Watch how this goes. You accuse them of lying. They accuse you of lying. Then they're going to start putting a GPS tracker under your car. They're going to start checking your phone bill. And then they're going to start accusing you. How come you were on the phone with your friend Davey the other night for an hour? Because we're planning a show together. Yeah, right. That guy's got a thing for you. And they go on like this. All right. Because this is what they do. This is their life 24/7. So they got to make it that this is what you're doing. Yeah, I talked about the side smirk. Oh, this is a good one. They start to buy you things out of the ordinary for no reason. Now, most narcs are very cheap people. They're cheapskates. They get all this money in the bank. And guess who they spend it on? They're me, myself, and I's. So they're spending their money on. The only time you're going to get any benefit of that is if they're sitting down for that dinner too with you. That's the only benefit you're going to get. All right. So when they start buying you Coach bags and, they're up to something. They don't just do that out of the kindness of their heart. They're up to guilt and shame. They're up to let me make you look over here so you don't see what I'm doing over here. So watch for that one. Narcs and liars are squirrely with their phones. As I said, they're squirrely. They're going to start doing weird things with the phones. They're all of a sudden, they're going to start putting their phone, turning it over at the table. Why are you doing that? Oh, I just don't want to be bothered right now with work. They'll leave their phone. All of a sudden they start plugging in their phone under the bed, leaving the phone in their car, leaving the phone under their pillow, leaving the phone in the other room. Things that they weren't doing before with their phone, and they're all of a sudden doing, they're up to something. They're being squirrely. And as I said, they've got all these other apps that they're using. They're putting in their phone, okay, AutoZone. AutoZone is, is Lucy. Okay. This is how they do it. But now it's much easier, like I said, because there's all these apps. I mean, they even have apps that say like calculator and all kinds of weird, if you get in their phone and you open up the apps and they're not password or face protected, you'll see what's going on. Okay. The next one is you notice that they keep parts of themselves from other people. Okay. They'll tell you something going on with them, very personal. And you'll say, does your best friend Tommy know that? Do you ever share like that, that you feel like you're finding Jesus and that, you're really shameful of like the things you've been doing? And does he know that, you've been seeing this men's group? You go to this men's group now because you know that Tommy was a very evil influence and just the same kind of narc crap that he was putzing around with or something, right? And so they'll be like, no. Or, they hide parts of themselves from people that seemingly they claim to be very close to. So you know something about them that person doesn't have a clue. And that person, so mark my words, that person knows a part of them that you don't have a clue of. Why? Because they don't have an identity, and they don't know who they are. They are different. They are chameleons. They are different people to do. They put on a show for whomever they have to put on the show for at that very time. And you're going to see this, okay? They hide major things. Like Tommy probably knows that your husband is bisexual. You don't know that. You don't have a clue. Okay, Tommy knows. All right. The next one here is, yeah, they're always accusing other people of being liars, fraudulent. They're always judging people. My ex was notorious for calling everybody a narcissist. Can't make this up. So they also follow major frauds on the internet. Okay. They are drawn to very fraudulent people. They're drawn to like fake, phony people, these influencers that love to flaunt how much money they got in a year, how to have as many chicks as possible without them getting mad at each other. This is the kind of people they watch. The red pill community, the misogynists, people that like you'd watch, and maybe some of the videos at first you'd be like, well, yeah, this person kind of makes sense, or I can see why they're watching them. They're kind of smart. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, this person is evil and toxic and angry and actually is like, this is hate speech. How is this even allowed on the internet? This is the people they're drawn to and watching. All right. The next one I have here is they are proud when they take advantage of other people. Proud if they made a deal with someone. Let's say that they were a realtor and they made a deal. They got a major compensation for this house, knowing full well that the entire foundation was cracked and the person didn't see it. They don't care. You're the idiot, not them. They actually take pleasure in taking advantage of other people. They they'll work at a place. Let's say they were in customer service. People will leave their sunglasses at the register. They'll have an entire closet full of other people's sunglasses, and they'll be so happy about that. And you'll say, well, did they come in asking for them? Yeah. It's like 3 weeks later. So what at that point? They also like to live off of other people, okay? Because that's that person's job, not them. It's not their job to take care of themselves. It's somebody else's job. All right. So that they're notorious for doing this. Okay. Always remember, guys, people who hide things have things to hide. People who hide things have things to hide. And with liars, there's always going to be more lies. If they lie to you about a Big Mac, they are lying about so much more. The little white lies are always indicative of how easy it comes to them. Okay. It's easy. That's what they do. All right. So I hope this video really helps you to really try to narrow down and distinguish what you're dealing with here. Okay. And what you're dealing with is a demonically possessed individual that takes pride in the demise of others, in the taking advantage of others, in the fooling of others. And at no given point that you thought you had a sincere bond with this person, okay, a sincere connection to this person, You were being sincere. You shared parts of you that were very vulnerable, and you thought that they were doing the same thing too when they would share with you. Most narcissists, as we know, they did have terrible childhoods, and they're going to share that with you. And then you're going to share personal things about you with them. And I think one of the worst things about all of this is to know at the very end, this person all along was your enemy, and you just didn't know it. You had no clue, because they masqueraded as a person that genuinely cared about you, genuinely had interest in your well-being, and genuinely had respect for you. And then when you find out none of that was true, it's a very devastating, shattering experience. And there is nothing worse than when it's your own family or a best friend that did this, or especially an intimate partner. Because as I've talked about before, when you yoke up with the wrong person, that binds you to the wrong person. It binds you spiritually. Sex is very serious. People nowadays don't take it seriously. And that is why we're seeing the world the way it is, and people acting the way they do, going around. You guys can see it. You know there's something very wrong with this world. You can feel it. You know it. You can sense it. People are acting more robotic. More and more and more people. Why do you think that is? Because we have it all wrong. We have it all backwards. You're not supposed to just casually sleep with people. You're not supposed to sleep with people you're even dating. No. So when you yoke up with a liar, that person's inserting some very bad juju into you. Okay. And it leaves a stain you're forever trying to get off. You will get it off in time. You're going to get that stain off. Okay. But you will never forget. As you move on in life, you will never forget the lessons learned, the things you will never do again twice. And you are always going to now be on the lookout for people. Okay. And you're going to take your time to get to know them. You won't share anything personal anymore, unless these people have been in your life for 20 years and proved themselves. You're not going to do it. I guarantee you, you won't do it. You're not going to go there. You're not going to open up and trust people the way you once did. And that's the lesson you had to learn. And in the interim with a liar, you're going to learn so much more about yourself. You're always going to look within, because that's what you do. Were there times you were wrong too? Absolutely. Flying off the handle, making no sense yourself, doing things that were self-sabotaging and self-soothing that, were wrong. And two wrongs don't make a right. Sometimes you guys reacted back. You got violent back. You wanted revenge back, all these things. But these are all learning lessons, because when you see people like this, deep down, you don't ever want to be like that. And you're going to make sure and do everything in your power and possibility to make sure that it doesn't happen, and that you better yourself and you surround yourself with good-hearted, positive, kind, warm, loving people. And if that's only two people in your life, well, you know something, or maybe it's one, or maybe it's your pets. Well, you're stinking lucky. You're darn stinking lucky. You're lucky. I said this the other day to a client of mine. You're lucky if you can find peace, because to me, peace is successful. That's success. Or I might have even said that in the video last night. I don't remember. It's been a week. Anyway, guys, that's my message for today. I hope that it helps some of you out there to really be on the lookout, be more on guard. And if you have any more questions, look, I was practically a professional detective. Okay. I've helped a lot of people safely find out what's going on. I'm actually, I'm going to start working with someone that is going to give me even more tips and tricks and helping me to help you when we're in sessions. Okay. Can't give it out online. I won't, because narcs are watching and they're trying to better themselves in the deception game here. So we're not going to give away the information. So if you're interested, please know I do coaching 7 days a week. I go based around your schedule, so it's most convenient for you. I work with people from all around the world, and I would be happy to work with you and help you to getting out of your situation and getting the facts and knowing what you're dealing with. Well, I'm Trace Face. As always, it's time we face the truth together.